Is my final video going over the Quinnipiac poll. This is now technically part 4 after I went over all the presidential races in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. Now I'm going to go over all the Senate races in this video and just do it as one video. So first things first, we're going to look at the Pennsylvania Senate race where Democratic incumbent Bob Casey is running against Republican challenger David McCormick. And in this poll right now, it has Bob Casey, the incumbent, at 52% to Republican Dave McCormick's 43%. That is also unchanged from Quinnipiac's last poll from August. In the poll, 96% of Democrats are voting, 96% of Democrats are backing Casey in this poll. Independents, Casey leads 51-41, while Republicans are 89-7 backing McCormick. So that is what? A 9-point lead in the race for Bob Casey over Dave McCormick. In the state of Michigan, Michigan Senate race, this is an open seat where the Democratic incumbent is retiring. The Democratic candidate is Congresswoman Elissa Slotkin. The Republican candidate is former Congressman, Mike Rogers. In this poll, Elissa Slotkin has a lead over the Republican Rogers, 51% to 46%, a 5-point lead. That matches the 5-point lead that Harris has over Trump in the state of Michigan in this poll. Slotkin is getting 98% of Democrats, while Rogers is getting 94% of Republicans. A pretty consistent trend in this poll is more Democrats are unified behind their candidates than the Republicans, it seems. And lastly, in the state of Wisconsin, in a tight race, Democratic incumbent Senator Tammy Baldwin is running for re-election against Republican Eric Hovde. In this poll, it finds that Baldwin has 51% and Hovde has 47%, a 4-point swing, the tightest of all of the Senate races. Democrats are backing Baldwin 98-2, while Republicans are backing Hovde 93-6. Again, constant trend that the Democratic candidates have more of their party support shored up in these races. Independents are split with 50% backing Baldwin and 49% backing Hovde. This is certainly a Senate race to keep an eye out for. This is going to be a very, very close one. The poll was conducted between September 12th and 16th by Quinnipiac University. Pennsylvania had a margin of error of 2.7. Michigan, margin of error 3.3 with 905 likely voters. And likely voters in Wisconsin, 1,075 with a margin of error of 3. So that was a lot to go over, a lot of information, a lot of numbers. I'm going to just real quickly take you through the Real Clear Politics Senate map, go state by state, and look at the averages of these three races. So I'm going to first start off with the state of Pennsylvania. We're in the current polling average right now. Dave McCormick is trailing Bob Casey by 4.3% in the latest average, and the Quinnipiac poll, the most recent poll I just went over, is now factored into the average at Casey plus 9. And this is one where it looked like for a little bit the race had McCormick going up in the polls, getting closer down to about 3 percentage points. And now it's starting to look like Casey is starting to rebound slightly and his numbers are going back up as we're getting closer to Election Day, whereas McCormick's numbers are going down slightly, remaining relatively consistency, but going down a little bit. This is certainly one where it's a close race. It's definitely one to keep an eye out for, but on Election Day, I would fully expect Bob Casey to win this Senate race. Trump would have to way outperform Kamala Harris in the state of Pennsylvania to really have a chance at beating Casey in this race, because it's looking like, based on the polls, that Casey is running just about even with Kamala Harris, if not a little bit better, and Dave McCormick is running a few points behind Donald Trump in pretty much every single poll. I did a video a few weeks ago now that was looking at a lot of the Republican challengers in these Senate races and taking a look at Donald Trump's polling numbers in the states, and Donald Trump was massively outperforming them by 3, 4, 5, 6 percentage points, depending on the seat. And McCormick seems to be having that problem here still, where the Republicans aren't able to shore up the support to get to the same level that Trump has, the way the Democrats are. So that's Pennsylvania. Now we're going to look at the state of Michigan, where Michigan right now, Slotkin is leading 48% in the average to Mike Rogers' 43%, a 5-point lead for Slotkin at this time. Not too dissimilar to Pennsylvania. I mean, based on the numbers right now, it looks like Slotkin could even be considered an incumbent, the way she's leading by 5 points in the polls. Her numbers are going up, as are Rogers. Rogers is not running even with Trump. Harris is leading in the state. Slotkin's leading in the state. I fully expect this one will probably go for Slotkin and the Democrats as well. Lastly, the state of Wisconsin, my view, one of the closer of the three. Democratic incumbent Tammy Baldwin is 50.6%. Eric Hov to 45.9. Hov continues to be one of the Republican Senate candidates who are actually running as close to even with Trump as possible compared to a lot of the other senators. 47% in the Quinnipiac poll, 47% in the Fabrizio poll is only about 1 to 2 percentage points back of Trump's numbers, and that's better than most of the Republican Senate candidates are doing across the nation. So even though Hovd is doing, honestly, what he needs to do well in this race, he's running up against a Democratic incumbent who is relatively well polled and well popular, and is likely in good standing to win this race. This is definitely one of the closer ones to keep an eye out for, but I think Tammy Baldwin's probably expected to win this race, and I think the average of about 4.7% is probably about where the race will end up being, but definitely one to keep an eye out for. So with that said, I'm just going to look one more time before the video ends. There are currently 50 Republican senators projected to win on election night, 44 for the Democrats, and when you go to Real Clear Politics Senate map, it's projected to be 51 for the Republicans, 49 for the Democrats, with Republicans picking up 2 seats, one in Montana, one in West Virginia. Today's polls don't really change that since West Virginia and Montana were not polled, but every single race that we went over, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, had the Democrat ahead, and I fully expect that to happen going forward as we get closer to Election Day. That will do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to give it a like. And if you really liked it, please remember to click the subscribe button. And make sure you turn post notifications on so you always get notified when I post a new video. That way you never miss one. Also, please remember to share this video with your friends and family if you really like the video. And remember to stay tuned because I'll be posting at least one video every single day leading up until Election Day, so I'd really appreciate it if you keep coming back and watching those videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.